Okay, number 4 is a very big problem. It's one that I know a lot of us have the desire, since it's a multiple choice test, to just plug in a bunch of answers, which you can do, but you also want to know how to do this accurately so that if you didn't have multiple choice options, you could do it on your own in the future. So the very big thing, you guys are going to see me do this in one take. I have not done this problem yet, so we'll see how it goes. One of the big things you want to make sure you do with problems like this, where there's a lot going on, is to be organized, okay? A skill that comes in handy in life in all arenas. So the goal here is to get 3 equations to 2, 2 to 1, and then kind of work your way back up. So it's 3 to 2, 2 to 1, and then 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the goal. So if I'm looking at this, I'm noticing that right off of the bat, I can combine equations 1 and 2, and the x's will automatically cancel out. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to label my work as I go. Okay, so we have 2x minus 4y plus 2z equals negative 16, and we've got negative 2x plus 2y minus 4z equals 12. If we add straight down, so we're combining everything that we can together, we get 2x minus 2x. Those cancel out. Negative 4 plus 2y, negative 4y plus 2y is negative 2y. 2z minus 4z is negative 2z. And negative 16 plus 12 is negative 4. All right, that is the equation that came out of combining equations 1 and 2. So the goal in this next step is we want to combine another 2 equations up here so that we can eliminate another pair of x's so that we end up with y's and z's to combine with the equation that we just came up with. So I'm looking at equations 2 and 3 and noticing that if I multiply equation 3 by 2, I'll end up canceling out the x's again. So that's the next step. I'm going to do this kind of all in one step. So 2 and 3, we're going to multiply equation 3 by 2. Okay? Again, what that's going to do is eliminate the x's so that we have 2 equations with only y's and z's. We're just trying to eliminate everything that we possibly can. All right, so we get negative 2x plus 2y minus 4z equals 12. And again, I'm going to multiply everything in here by 2 as I go to kind of save myself some extra work and space here. So we get, if we multiply x by 2, we get 2x. 3y times 2 is 6y. Negative z times 2 is negative 2z. And 2 times 2 is 4. Right, so now what happens is we cancel these out if we're adding, just like we did in the last pair, adding everything together. 2y plus 6y is 8y. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. And 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay, perfect. Now we have these 2 equations that we can combine together. So here we go. We started with 3, now we're down to 2. All right, 2 equations. Negative 2y minus 2z equals negative 4. And then this one we put over here. So 8y minus 6z equals 16. Okay, so we want to cancel some stuff out again. This is the part where we're going from 2 equations to 1 and 1 unknown, so we can kind of work our way back. So if I look at these, I notice that if I multiply, we have multiple options here. We can multiply this top equation by 4, the significance being that the y's would cancel out, or we can multiply by negative 3 to get the z's to cancel out. Doesn't really make a difference to me. So let's just, since we have a positive y and a negative y, let's go with canceling out the y's and multiply the top equation by 4. Okay. So let's hear. We're not going to add these, so I'm going to put the squiggly line so you guys know that we're not adding yet. Okay, so let's move this up. So this problem gets a whole page. So those of you who are going on to calculus and beyond, get ready because you're going to have problems. One problem that will take up multiple pages for the solution. It's great. It really is. Okay, so here we go. Negative 8y minus 8z equals negative 16. Whoops. All right, that's okay. We'll keep going. Kind of ignore that line. Then we have 8y minus 6z equals positive 16. All right, so now we add those. Ignore that line. Okay, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. So those cancel out. Negative 8z minus 6z is negative 14z, and 16 and negative 16 are 0. Okay, if we divide by negative 14, we get z equals 0. Now, a lot of people in problems like this, they get something like this, where you get a 0 for an answer, and you're like, oh, okay, I must have done something wrong. Not necessarily the case, okay? If you look at the answers, again, we're very fortunate that we have a multiple choice test because we have answers that are given to us. Well, you see that there is an answer option that has 0 in for C. So again, doesn't mean we did anything wrong. If we want to now go back, we can stop here because Z equals 0. There's only one option for that, but to make sure that we're doing it totally accurately, let's go ahead and go back and find X and Y, okay? So if you see up here, we've got two equations up at the top. We've got these two equations that both have a y and a z. So if we take the 0 and plug it into either of them and solve for for y, we'll be good. Okay, so I like the smaller numbers equation. I don't know about you guys, but working with smaller numbers is a little bit easier. So I'm going to take this down here, negative 2y minus 2, and I'm going to plug the 0 in for z equals negative 4. Okay, so those go away. We have negative 2y equals, make sure you guys can see that, and you can't, so let's move it up. Negative 2y equals negative 4, and we divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, so y equals 2. Okay, and then at the very end, once you have two of your variables, which we do, we have z and y, you take that and plug it back into one of the top equations. Let's scroll back up. Not really scrolling, I'm just moving the paper down, but you guys, if you were on the computer, you could be scrolling. Okay, so then I like smaller numbers, so I'm going to go back and pick equation 3 and plug in z and y so that I can find x. Okay, so equation 3 is x plus 3y minus z equals 2. Okay, so we're going to take y, plug it in for y, we're going to take z, plug it in for z, x plus 3 times 2 minus 0 equals 2, so that goes away. X plus 6 equals 2, minus 6, and again, make sure you can see here, x equals negative 4. And if you look at the answer options, so we end up, typically you guys have seen up to this point x and y coordinate systems. We're going to get into three-dimensional coordinate systems, and that's exactly what this is. So it's x, y, z, go in alphabetical order, equals, the x that we found was negative 4, y is 2, z is 0. So that's a point in a three-dimensional coordinate system. Okay, whoa, 7 minutes. All right, let's move on to another video for the next several problems.